Hey there, guys, it's Metro, and we are back with a topic I can just not wait to talk on. I have to say, I don't play a priest, all right? So if you're coming to this video somehow and you don't know who I am, I have no interest in priests. The class doesn't do anything for me. It really doesn't excite me that much. But the talent trees are easily the thing I've been most excited for week after week since they announced it, since they described it. I cannot wait for what this is going to do to the game because personally, I love playing the game from the ground up. Like, I like it when classes are just really fun and there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do with them. So, throughout the games, last 5 or 6 years, we had that at times with Legion Legendaries, tier sets, especially now in BFA or in Shadowlands, in BFA, we had like Twilight Devastation and all these different corruptions, and there was a lot of cool stuff you can do. But the difference is, all of those things could be done only at max level. They were only interesting at max level. They were only for max level content. This changes the class. This is literally a foundational rework of the class. And that's probably why I'm so excited for Dragonflight, because it feels like they're recommitting to a time when the actual whole game will matter again. And potentially, even level 1 will be as fun as level 60. We'll see how that plays out, or 70, whatever. And this is going to get me there if you ask me. So, why are we talking about priests? Well, of course, it just came out. So it's kind of the hot thing to do. But there's a lot more to talk about than just that, okay? Now, I don't really care about discipline as well. I will just say that I looked at all three of the discipline, holy, and shadow trees. I don't know much about any of these. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? In fact, the shadow one makes no sense to me. I don't know. I really don't even know what half these spells are. I don't know what's talents and what's in the game currently. Never played shadow before in my life. I don't care about that side at all. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the left side is what I've been literally dreaming of. I cannot wait to talk about this. And if you followed me, this is now like the third or fourth video I made on the talent stuff. And if you did follow that, you would know that I've been talking about hybridity, okay? Hybridity meaning the class can potentially be valuable in something other than its mainly defined role, okay? So let me quickly recap with you on this because there's really not a lot to talk about. I'm just going to gush over what's actually here, okay? Hybridity to me is a very core part of this game's foundational perspective. Like, it's really important to the very building blocks of the game. Because in the old days, you used to play a class and then you would spec a certain way, but you still played a class. You played a paladin. So a paladin was something that was bulky. It could be tanky. I can get hit by physical damage, whether that's from a boss, from trash, from an enemy, from a player. You know what I mean? It worked the same way. They had the same passive powers. You could tank, you could heal, you had healing spells, you had AoE threat, you had all kinds of cool stuff, but you were a paladin. That changed a long time ago, and it's been missing from the game for a very long time. And that is what I wanted to see come back the most, okay? Because in Wrath, for example, I played a build where I put a lot of points into the ret tree. I put a ton of points into the ret tree, and people did not take too kindly to it, and it wasn't very good. I played a bunch of different playstyles in Wrath, but that was one of them, and it was quite fun. It was basically a 100% mana build. You would never go out of mana. It was like pretty much impossible to go out of mana, and it was really fun. But I had way more points into ret. But I was a healer. I played the healer role, even though the game might have indicated that I was a retribution paladin. And that is what I love about that. It was perfectly viable. I was a raid leader of a guild at the time, and we killed bosses like that. So I love that. I absolutely love that. There's been flashes of it still to this day. Holy Pally remains a very strong offensive healer. So I even killed a boss in Nighthold as a healer DPS. We had 4 healers who were all basically officers in the guild, and we really needed to cut one out, and we didn't really have a good option to remove them because they were all doing very crucial roles. So we did it with 3 healers and me doing full DPS. 100% of my globals were DPS. I love that kind of stuff, okay? So flash forward to today, we have the announcement about the talents, and I'm thinking if we can just get this hybridity back, I would love it. Well, guess what? It's not exactly like it was in Wrath, where you'll be able to be a discipline priest and actually fill a DPS role. That's probably a bad example. You won't be able to be a retribution paladin, probably not, and actually heal raid bosses. But guess what? This is close, man. This is seemingly really close. And so they did the druid talents, and honestly, it was like I just kind of didn't really care. Druid's a very interesting class to me, but they have this like kind of borderline boring hybridity to him. Like you literally are always a hybrid as a druid. You can be in bear form, cat form, maybe boonkin form, all this shit. And it's just like, I don't know. It kind of got a little stale for me for a while, Like that's their class fantasy, right? Whereas like Paladin's class fantasy was not that. It was just like, it was something on top of it. So for me, my favorite classes for this would be Paladin and Shaman, okay? So they do Druid, and I'm like, well, they have all the same hybridity they have in Shadowlands. It's really not changed. They have a lot of cool talents, and I'm looking forward to playing Resto or maybe Bear as well. But unfortunately, a lot of the cool stuff I really liked from especially Legion Druid is just not there for Resto Druid. So we'll see how it plays, whatever. And then they announced Death Knight, okay? And so Death Knight was like, oh, this is working pretty well. This is actually going to be even better than I expected. We saw a lot of cool frost spells, a lot of things that I can do as a Blood DK to potentially really improve my actual damage. And I could build a little bit more offense, a little bit more defense. There's a lot of really cool choices. But mostly my Blood DK thoughts were so ecstatic because of the Blood DK tree, like the stuff on the right side, you see? That stuff for Blood DK was excellent. So many cool talents. Can't wait to try them out. Then we came to Priest. And now I was like 7 out of 10 when they announced Druid. I was 10 out of 10 when they announced Blood DK. And now I'm like 12 out of 10. Like, I don't even know. I don't know how I keep getting more hyped for this. But let's talk about this, okay? First of all, you got prayer amending here. Now, what I'm trying to tell you here, okay, is that this all exists for all 3 specs. So Priest might be the most extreme example of it because they have 2 healing specs, okay? And that is always a really cool thing about Priest. Like even back in Classic, Priest was the healer. Like that, they were the best baseline healer because they had the most access to it. And that was probably because Blizzard made 2 full trees worth of spells to use for them. Now, will that happen for Paladin and Shaman? Probably not. But we do know Druid is already at that point, right? Like if you're a balanced Druid, you can do a good amount of healing. And if that's the baseline, like if that's going to be that way for every hybrid, I'm fine. That's fine, man. I'm fine with that. And as long as it's vice versa the same way, like as long as these talents can also help the Holy Priest do more damage, this is going to be so good for the game. I cannot wait. Okay? So some things that people are probably interested in if you're hearing me talk about Priest, power infusion, okay? This is one of them. We'll talk more about the healing thing in a second, but I just want to get on to the hot topics here. Power infusion is still in the game. A lot of people think it should be removed. And honestly, those people, I just have nothing in common. It's like, honestly, I've heard people say this, even people that I have things in agreement with. And it's just like, dude, you guys are so over obsessed with trying to min-max nonsense that you're not even like, just chill out, man. It's fine. It's been in the game since Classic. You know that, right? Power Infusion used to be in the game in Classic. Like, it's a very core spell. It's not like they just randomly added it for no reason. It was gone forever, and BFA, they said classes suck. It's time to go further with this. What they call it, the Great Unpruning. Brian Halinka came out on stage, the Great Unpruning, and they added back Power Infusion. It's a core spell, man. I love it. I love seeing that spell. I love seeing AMZ. They had other cool spells like Searing Totem, Hunter's Mark. These spells, they came back and they ended up nerfing them or removing them. Hunter's Mark's still in the game, but doesn't do what it did on the beta. So it's really sad when people are trying to get the cool spells removed just because they're too, stop being a fucking tryhard about everything, dude. It's not a bad thing that priests give somebody else a buff, dude. That's not a bad thing. And it's even better because of the way they're handling it in the talent tree, okay? So Power Infusion here, it's the same spell it looks like. And then somewhere here is a buffed version of it, which is actually the Legendary. I don't know where it is, to be honest. It's here somewhere. But yeah, the cool thing about the talent, the cool thing about the Legendary right now is that it's a very useful Legendary, and it makes it so the player who is the priest also gets the benefit, okay? I don't know where this talent is. But anyway, it's a really, really good idea because, here it is. Oh, it's a 2-rank talent. I didn't expect that. 100% of the effect when used on an ally. So it's right now, it's like really, Shadow Priest just won't give it to anyone else, right? But if you take that Legendary, you can give it to someone else, and that's really cool. I like that kind of stuff. Well, now everybody's going to have this talent. It's in the dead center of the tree. This perfect place for it. This is exactly where you want all this stuff. This is genius. It's really, really, really well done. You're taking really powerful legendaries and putting them into the talent tree, and it's solving quality of life issues with the spell. Okay? So that's a really hot topic. Another one, I don't even know where these things are, man. There's a really, oh, is it down here? There's a something about your Sarge. Let me actually show you this, the blue post on this, because this is actually nuts. Okay, it's in there somewhere. I'm sorry, I'm being very scattered with my thoughts, but it's a talent, okay? And they're gonna update the tooltip, but this is what the talent does. It's like ridiculous wording. It's so weird. So this is what it does. When you use Mindbender, I think is how it works, or Shadow Fiend is the name of it by default. If the Shadow Fiend attacks a target that is above 80%, it gets the Pride buff. You and your Shadow Fiend deal increased damage while Shadow Fiend is active. I think it's when you summon Shadow Fiend, whatever happens, stays that way, okay? That's what it seems like. So more damage if it's above 80%. That's cool. They need more burst damage, don't they? Enraged. Purges the enraged effect and increases your haste while Shadow Fiend is active. More priest utility. We'll take that. Another purge. That's really useful. Stunned. You generate insanity while Shadow Fiend is active. Is it only a shadow talent? I thought it was in the regular priest one. Feared. You and your Shadow Fiend deal increased damage and do not break fears while Shadow Fiend is active. Do not break fears. That sounds ridiculously overpowered for 5-man or for PvP, doesn't it? It'd be really cool for leveling challenges too. No conditions meant. Violence. Duration of Shadow Fiend is increased. So basically, if the mob is not stunned, basically if it's a raid boss and it's above or below 80% health, it will be increased. I love this. I absolutely love this, dude. This is so cool. Is it a shadow talent then? I'm sorry, I wish I knew, but I guess it must be if it's not if I'm not seeing it in the actual thing. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm really loving this. But yeah, there it is. Okay, so it is a shadow talent. Okay, well that's yeah, not my favorite. I thought it was gonna be a priest one, but anyway, it's fine. So let's talk about this, guys, because I really like this concept. Okay, so we have Prayer of Mending, which currently I believe Discipline does not have. Right, this was a core spell, or another one that was added. I believe it was added either in, I think it's TBC, right? I don't really play TBC, so I don't know. Guess what? Renew. Probably one of my favorite spells. I always love those hots, man. Resto Druid having hots, Riptide. I missed the Holy Pally stuff as well. They used to have a hot, didn't they? I don't. Anyway, yeah. Oh yeah, Light of Dawn was like a hot or something. Anyway, Renew is probably one of my favorite heals in the game, and I don't really like Holy Priest. So having Renew as this priest, I mean, I'm sold, man. Because then there's all this shit like, buffs to Prayer of Mending, Benediction. This is a Holy Priest talent. Improved smite. There's a lot of really cool talents that are really versatile. Your healing is increased on targets with your Renew. That sounds like that would be great. That's probably a talent too. Prayer of Mending has a 6% chance to not consume a charge when it jumps. That's probably something as well. These all sound like something. Enlightenment, healing, regenerating mana. I mean, that's completely useless for Shadow, but it's there. An explosion. Holy Nova as Discipline again? Come on, man. Holy Nova as Discipline again? Let's go. I'm so excited for this, dude. I don't even play this class. Do you understand this? I don't think I can tell you this in any clearer terms. I don't give a shit about a priest. I never played one. I'm not going to play one. I played one in mop challenge modes. That was it. It's the last time I played a priest. They're fun to level on classic because you got a wand. That's it. I don't care. And this talent tree has me so excited, I'm screaming at my webcam talking about this spec I don't even play. Do you understand how exciting this is? I can't express this enough. It is insane. And you have things like this. Shadow Mend, right? As holy. I mean, come on, man. Power Word Pain or Shadow Word Death and that's just Shadow Word Death. I thought it was Shadow Word Pain. So the thing I don't see on here is Smite and Shadow Word Pain. I assume they're just there. Mind Blast as well. The thing that's weird was when we looked at Blood Decay, they basically had no spells. So I don't know if they've like changed that. I didn't actually read the post on the priest stuff because it's just way too long. But yeah, Mind Blast buffs here, prevents a small amount of damage. That's kind of useful for a healer, to be honest. I actually had to use that in the Mage Tower. When you cast Shadow Mend on yourself, its damage over time heals you instead. After healing, Twist of Fate, we know that. That's a talent. Shadow Man, 15% chance to deal no damage. Thank you. That sounds like I'll take that. Holy Nova, we have Leap of Faith. That's a class spell. Master Spell, everybody has that. Mind Control, everybody has that. But Dominant Mind, you may now control your own character while Mind Control is active. Only Discipline has that right now. Shadow Fiend, that's a shadow only spell, by the way. Oh, no, that's not actually true, right? I think that's false. Yeah, it used to be. Yeah, that's false. I'm wrong about that. But Mindbender, I think that's also still. I just don't know if Holy has these things. I think Discipline has them. I haven't played Priest in so long. I shouldn't be talking about this. But anyway, look at all these buffs, dude. Look at all these things. There's 5 talents for Shadow Fiend. You can play this as a healer, dude. This is so. How many times can I say it, dude? This is a talent. This is a legendary. Shadow Flame Prism. I had to look this up. Meteorol told me about this. This is a legendary. A Shadow Priest legendary. Mind Blast and Shadow Word Death cause your Shadow Fiend to teleport behind your target. It's an AoE talent. It's an AoE talent. It's going to buff your AoE damage, dude. Holy Priest, this priest actually getting talents to buff their damage? Are we sure we're playing World of Warcraft, dude? Last time I played Discipline Priest, all they were doing was nerfing their damage. It's insane, dude. It's insane. Mind Games, the Ventir spell, assaults an enemy's mind, dealing shadow damage and briefly making the game good again. Look at this shit, dude. It's just so good, man. I'm so excited. As you can tell, I'm excited. There's just so much cool shit. I love the fact that Holy Nova, Renew, Prayer of Mending. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it, dude. I love it. Where's Greater Heal, dude? I want that spell. Put that shit in the game. There's Regular Heal. I want Greater Heal. You remember that thing? It's a PvP talent. Put that in here. Where is that? Let's get that in here. I really wish they would just add the PvP talents to the regular talent trees. Because, like, this has got to be... Some of these are way stronger than PvP talents, right? Look at the Power Word Shield stuff, too. Is Power Word Shield baseline? It must be a baseline spell. They got a lot of baseline spells, huh? Oh, yeah. These shielding ones are really cool. Really cool. A second Holy Nova. I'm pretty sure that's a talent or something. I remember seeing that somewhere. Dispel less mana. Okay. There's no interrupt. That was the other thing I wanted to talk about. No interrupt, unfortunately. So that is a little weird, but we'll see. You never know. Maybe they change that. Definitely want to see silence. Like, you got all these Shadow Meld or Shadow Fiend things. Let's get silence over here, huh? Let's go ahead and get rid of whatever this is. Although that's kind of cool, to be honest. Oh, you get mana back. Wow, that's really... Man, there's some really good pre-spells. Desperate Prayer, that's just a baseline spell still. Casting Power Word Shield on an ally also shields you for 10% of the amount. And Power Word Shield instantly heals the target for an amount and reflects 20% of the damage absorbed. These are just great. These are just great. I don't know if what's in the game and what's not. Renew heals for an additional 5% and its mana cost is reduced. Like, dude, are we going to be spamming Renew as Disc Priest? I love it. I really do. I have to say, maybe people won't like it. But to those people, I would say try to stop being so focused on, like, min-maxing. Try to just have fun and enjoy these crazy changes, man. These are going to be crazy changes, dude. I just cannot wait, man. I just cannot wait. Well, above 75% health, the cast time of your smite is going to be reduced by 20%. This is going to be such a good leveling character. I cannot wait to do a leveling challenge. I'm going to do a priest leveling challenge, 100%. I can't wait to see. I honestly cannot wait to get onto the alpha and just mess around with classes. Just see what the classes are like. What is this? Holy Word Life? A word of holy power that heals the target. If the target is not below 20% health, the caster takes damage equal to the amount. That's interesting. Does that do damage to your Power Word Shield if you have Power Word Shield up? Healing is increased by 150% to targets below 20% health. It's a 30-second cooldown. What are you talking about, dude? You could use this as a Shadow Priest. They're going to be like the best healer in the game, dude. What is coming for the other damage specs that are attached to healers? I was excited about tanks. I still am. But the thing is, you're never going to be able to tank. You're never going to be able to tank as a non-tank. It's just not going to work that way. The threat modifiers are still going to exist. You can have a shield. You can have everything in your arsenal, taunt, all this stuff. It just doesn't work, okay? But you can definitely heal as a non-healer. And that's a really important thing in PvP. It can be a really important thing in raid content, Mythic Plus content. It can also just be a really important thing out in the world. To feel like you can actually survive without having to sit down and eat or something. I am sold. Thank you for watching. I cannot wait to see more classes coming soon.